And now I must immediately put it out because it set off the smoke detector yesterday. Hey everybody, you ready for a video about optical character recognition? Doesn't that sound juicy and exciting? No, it sounds really technical and stupid and boring. But it is the basis for today's video. I got up this morning, started reading my email. There was an email from Bill, a longtime friend of the C Realm, and Bill sent me a link to an article on Slate. It's called License Plate Readers Are Creeping into Neighborhoods Across the Country. Cheap surveillance software is changing how landlords manage their tenants, and what laws police can enforce, by Josh Kaplan. So, what's this talking about? You know, for many, many years now, police cars have been outfitted with these devices. It's a very high-end camera with some built-in processing power and software that takes pictures and runs the license plate of every car within sight. So, police officers can drive through, in one instance, the parking lot of a mosque on worship day and get the license plates of everybody who is at the mosque. Just, to keep a record of who is coming and going from this highly suspicious venue. Well, those devices that were used by police were expensive. A single high-end camera with the built-in processing and software and the license to use it would be about $10,000. What happens when that comes down to $1,000? Which is basically where we're at now. And the $1,000 isn't for the camera because the optical character recognition software has gotten so good that it doesn't need a high-end camera. You have been training these systems every time you solve a CAPTCHA online. What you're doing is training AI, and the result is that the optical character recognition technology is getting much, much better, and as with everything in the tech world, much, much cheaper. So when it cost $10,000 to have a single camera, police didn't use it all that much. But now that it's $1,000, and that $1,000 isn't really for the camera is basically free, the $1,000 is the license for the device. Once it gets to be that cheap, well, then uses are going to proliferate. For example, the author Josh Kaplan talked to Clayton Burnett. Clayton Burnett, get this job title, is the Director of Innovation and New Technology at Watchtower Security, a private company that contracts with property managers, hundreds of them, in low-income communities across the U.S. So this company, this surveillance company, has an executive whose job it is to brainstorm, come up with new uses for this technology now that it's getting cheap and ubiquitous, and then marketing that to property management companies so that they can keep a better tab on their low-income tenants. Basically using the technology and the fact that it is now cheap and ubiquitous to police the poor outside of the context of actual law enforcement. So the article gives a few examples, but the one I want to share with you is this. Clayton Burnett says, Watchtower uses the technology to prove that a tenant has a buddy crashing on their couch, violating their lease. Normally, there's some limit to how long a visitor can stay, like 5 days, he says, and we can prove they're going over that. One search, and they have proof that the buddy has been coming over every night for a month. So, joy, oh joy, here's a person without a place to stay. They've been crashing on a friend's couch. The landlord doesn't like it, so what are they doing now? Sleeping in their car? Is that really an improved situation? You're basically curtailing the ability of poor people to help one another. Is this the world that we really want to knowingly move into? There are reasons for saying yes, but I will have to save that for a future video. Because now I want to move on to Facebook. Oh, Facebook. Facebook has just made history. How? Because the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has just levied a $5 billion fine against Facebook for their privacy violations and violations of user trust over the past several years. Prior to that, the largest FTC fine had been in the realm of $200 million. So this is a huge jump. But what was the effect of the FTC fining Facebook $5 billion? The Facebook stock price went up. Who owns more Facebook stock than anybody else? Mark Zuckerberg. So that $5 billion fine against Facebook clearly pleased investors because the stock price went up, which increased Mark Zuckerberg's personal wealth. he got richer when the FTC hit them or hit his company with this record-breaking fine. And what is $5 billion to Facebook? Well, think about this. Facebook made $22 billion, not in revenue, but in profit in 2018. $5 billion is less than Facebook will make in a single quarter. And now they have a clean slate. They've paid for their past crimes. They get to go out and commit a whole slew of new crimes now. And sometime in the future, they will probably pay another record-breaking fine. And again, that will bring them current. So, they pay back a small percentage of their profit in order to continue to violate people's privacies in very innovative and novel ways. They're really good at it. I mean, from a certain perspective, you have to stand back and take your hat off and pay homage to just how clever and creative they are when it comes to invading people's privacy and serving up their users to advertisers and to other parties, because this isn't just about advertising. All of these big tech companies have contracts with intelligence agencies and with the Pentagon, as well as with law enforcement. All right, so where does that leave us? Basically, it leaves us solving CAPTCHAs, even though algorithms are better at most CAPTCHAs than we are now. And in fact, one article I read this morning talked about how Amazon had filed for a patent for CAPTCHAs that, in order to pass the CAPTCHA, these were like logic puzzles and other cognitive tasks that humans are clearly worse at than algorithms, that to pass the CAPTCHA, you have to fail the test. Because when you fail, you demonstrate that you have deficient cognitive abilities compared to a particular algorithm. But the CAPTCHA war is an ongoing battle. And here's one, every now and again, you're used to clicking on, say, click on all the pictures of cars, click on all the pictures of storefronts, click on all the pictures of streetlights that you see here. And they're really obscure, they're out of focus, they're shot at a great distance, there's all sorts of things to make it difficult. And then every now and again, you come across a site where there's just a box. It says, I am not a robot, and you just click in the little circle and a check mark appears. That was so easy. Why can't they all be like that? Well, how can they do that? How can you just clicking on that little circle prove that you're a human? Because they have been monitoring your use of the web for the past several minutes, days, weeks, and just because you are under continuous surveillance. Even before you click, the algorithms that administer the site understand that you are a human doing normal human things on the web and not some bot out there basically scraping data or just blasting sites with stolen passwords and things. And in fact, I'm not really clear on what the actual clicking of the circle and getting that check mark does, except maybe give the user just a little glow, just a little click, check, I'm approved. Isn't that nice? All right, that is all for today. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Stay well.